Well, I'm glad I didn't wear my shirt that matches that.
I feel like a picnic table.
Well, it looks
Somebody at work told me that reminded them of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
What's your basket?
It's ain't that because of your red shoes.
I know, I said I could click them and say there's no place like home.
Pepper, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
Good, thanks.
start with number one, just so we make sure we get all those squared away?
We can.
Because I'm worried that was gonna take a lot of time to
I
get.
just am worried he's gonna show up during the pre-meeting,
Oh,
but
well, then, yeah, that's a good point. I'd go ahead.
we'll
and
get
do
through
that.
the others. The others will be easy. So I think we'll go ahead and talk about the old business, which is the carport case.
Yep.
My opinion is we give him the chance to get a building permit. And then when that doesn't happen, what, he has to tear it down?
He can be ordered to. I mean, it wouldn't just be a automatic thing, but yeah, because he wouldn't have the permit, well, he did have y'all did approve it, but subject to the other stuff, correct?
Right.
All right, so if he didn't get the building permit, then the building department would just
Yeah, we approved
move for it to
the
come down.
accessorial, if that's how you say that word, structure with the conditions he'd get a building permit.
Right,
And pass all of those things. And then last month, we gave him a 30-day
right.
time.
So you would find at whatever point the 30 days is expired, he's not met the conditions.
Thursday.
It's gonna be Thursday, okay. Rescind it and then he's built it without a permit.
As it says, the variance we granted becomes null and void on Thursday.
Right.
Is there all right, let me make sure that I'm still following. All right, we asked him to get a building permit for something that's already up. And he did not get the building permit, but if he would have gotten the building permit, things still would not be okay, because if it's not in the line of everything, then it would have to be torn down. Is that not?
Or fixed to make it that way, yeah.
But then it would
Well, I
be on
thought
the
the issue
building
was it was too
department
close to the
and
street.
not on
Well,
us.
that might, he'd have to move it,
Yeah, I thought that was the issue, it was too close to the street,
yeah,
and so it would have to be torn down.
right, or moved, because they're movable. Not necessarily torn down, in disrespect, dismantled, but it
Well,
would have to be moved,
my,
to meet the condition.
sure, well, my understanding is that this item is set in, with the poles, and the poles are set in concrete.
I don't think they
I
are.
think they're just bolted to the,
Yeah.
Bolted to the concrete?
yeah.
Okay, so they're just bolted to the
Yeah, I think it's one of
driveway.
these carport structures, it's just bolt to the ground.
Okay, bolt to the
I
concrete.
think that's how it is. See, I don't know, because
We won't go,
we
yeah.
have a building
I think
permit,
it is.
typically we get fastening details from these structure companies, they'll send over a detail saying this is how you're supposed to secure these to the ground in order to meet the wind loads and whatnot.
Okay,
So it just depends on what they did.
and that is a trouble thing.
So is that the only part of the ordinance they were asking for a variance on, was a setback from the street?
Or just to be able to have it in the front yard.
Yeah, you can't have it in the front yard.
You can't have an accessory structure in the front yard, so
Okay,
that was the crux of it all.
okay.
Regardless of the setback. So, I mean, it's in the front yard.
Okay, city,
But let me understand this first. So we've already approved that variance as long as he obtained a building permit by Thursday. And
And
we
we
set the time frame that if he doesn't, then the variance was null and void. That's all the action that we're
Well, we
responsible
had a
for.
condition that, on there, that the contractor that installed it, come get the permit.
Right.
Well, he's not coming. Can't
Well,
get him
but
here.
that's not on us.
but,
So why is it back here for us to decide anything?
man,
It's kind of a good
before
point.
before we address
Because
that,
we got to amend it where somebody else can get the permit, other than him.
Other than the builder.
Other than the actual person that installed it.
right, and so if we then allow this person, the homeowner, or what have you, to be able to come and get the building permit,
Right.
then, he's in a better spot, because,
Right.
like you said, he's impacted because his builder will not come back down here.
Right.
Because I'm building houses, and I don't have time to come down there and fool with y'all. So,
I don't know about that.
well, if I'm the builder up there and he doesn't wanna come down
He
here
just
for
won't
free.
come down 'cause he'd be in trouble.
Oh, okay, all right, I'm not crossing no state lines then, is what you
Well,
said.
no, he works in Alabama, he just didn't have all the credentials to work in Decatur.
Oh, okay, I'm not crossing that county line
Yeah,
then, or city limit, whatever it is.
yeah, city limit lines. It
Okay.
works everywhere, he's just not licensed.
No, that's even worse there. All right, so, but the homeowner, if we allow the homeowner to be able to get a building permit,
Right.
and then the building permit says you are able to build, but we've already, this body has already provided the variances.
Right.
So if he got the building permit, then he is free to go, is he not?
He's free to go as far as meeting all he's gotta do next is meet that it's actually on his property, and it's built correctly, that's all he's gotta meet.
I thought the variance that we gave waived that.
No, all it weighs is that it didn't, you said he could have it in his front yard, and all it had to do is be on his property. Well, we don't know whether it's actually sitting on his property or not, we think it is extended across his property line into the
Easement.
right of way.
Into the right of way versus easement.
Yeah. So, we don't know, because we don't have a building permit, and we haven't been out there to check.
Okay.
And we don't have a survey like we typically get when we get a building permit. And so our information is very lacking, which would come with a building permit, because we wouldn't issue one until we got all that information.
Yeah, all we approved
Is the fact that he could put it in his front
is
yard.
he
on
could
his
have a
property.
structure in the front yard.
But he would still have to
Providing-
comply with the building department.
Yeah, that got it out of it. We weren't granting variances and setbacks and all of that. We just granted him the right to have the structure
Yep.
if he followed the building permit process.
Okay.
And it's not in the easement, because y'all can't grant one that's in, not necessarily, it's not over the property. Y'all can't do anything over his property.
Okay. Now, the next question, as raised, if people quote, come after the city, close quote, whatever that means, okay, whatever that means, how does that affect this board particularly? Like, are we on the behalf of the city to whereas when a suit is filed, they're coming after the members of this board?
Well, they can petition somebody, I guess, I don't know.
No, that's a real question. That's a real question,
Anybody can
because
sue anybody.
we do things, normally, we do things for the behest of the city, but we certainly don't want to have to go and start hiring attorneys to
You
do
would not
what
have
is a
to,
free
because-
thing.
Well, let me say this, he
Hang on,
wasn't,
Bob,
Okay.
I know this
wasn't-
part.
Yeah,
If somebody sues y'all in your capacity as on this board, they're also suing the city. We hired the attorneys, to represent the city and any of the board members, and they handle it. You're welcome to have one of your own if you want to. I don't understand why you would, because our interests are identical, and we provide that, and we do all the representation.
okay, because we're trying to act on behalf of the city.
well, mind you, in the context of come after the city. does
It's
not
probably
mean
not
come
legal
after
service.
It's business.
Oh, they could beat somebody up.
Yeah,
And
if we would have went out there to try to do something and he would have got into a conflict,
Uh-huh. It was
he would try to
hard.
harm.
And I have prepared us for that today, so you don't need to worry about that.
Now, I don't think the son's gonna be just to that.
Right.
But the son is the one with the,
Case in point at the back door.
with the defense or whatever.
If somebody stands in between me and getting to Taco Tuesday in the parking lot, I can tell you who's gonna win.
All right. Okay, well,
By therapy.
thank you for that discussion.
All right,
No
so,
problem.
So we're bringing him back in today to remind him he's got 2 days to get a building permit. He can petition us to amend our last variance if his lawyer wants to. I don't understand what his lawyer's gonna do today, other than just
I think it's
communicate
mainly
to
trying
him.
to explain to him that what we are asking by the city, asking him to do is a correct procedure.
Okay.
Nothing that we're just trying to lay on him
Yep.
because we want money.
Well, here's the
So let's
other,
make sure we're asking the right, telling him
If
the right
he-
procedure then.
He does not understand the process.
if his request is that he get to be the applicant for the permit rather than the builder,
Right.
okay, that's fine, but are we still going to, and I suggest we would, still have a deadline Thursday? Because,
That's fine, he can come up there and buy one tomorrow.
yeah. That's what I'm saying, I don't think we should extend the time, even if
No.
y'all make the decision to let him apply for it.
How are we getting around the right of way? I mean, it's 4
we're not gonna get around the right of way. Once he gets the building permit, then we've got a legal means to actually be on the property to do an inspection.
And the
Now, we
building,
may bring some people with us,
and the
do
building
that.
department would look,
And then
and if it's not in compliance, they would stop it.
then we would say
Or
it's not.
remedy it.
Here's what you
It would
gotta
never
do.
come back to us.
And
No,
then-
it would not come back here.
And
So did
whatever-
we ask him to come back today, or did he ask to come back today?
Tom asked to come back today.
Well, where's Tom?
He's on vacation.
Well, tell him to get back. He's not allowed to stir the pot.
I'm not his supervisor.
Right.
That,
Yes, it's fine for you to have the permit if that's what y'all choose, but either way, it's still gotta be done by Thursday and you gotta comply with it. And then y'all don't have to deal with it anymore.
Okay.
Because it's not
Y'all
still
good with that?
open,
Giving
y'all are
it
not
till
gonna
deadline?
vote at some point to nullify
To try
what
and
you
get his
did.
permits?
Because when you granted it, you said it automatically expires on this day. So,
requested to come here.
yep, so,
Yeah, I don't,
I just don't want to get in a rabbit hole about
Oh,
all
sure,
this other
yeah.
kind of stuff that
I'll be
I
back.
got.
The city's coming back and saying, we want you to adjust this so that so is the city, is Tom, the building department?
Yeah, I didn't, I normally you sitting right next
You
to
can,
her,
you
so.
can be, you can be me.
Yeah, no, I know I said for you.
Are you,
Hey,
is
I
the
just
building
sit there and
department
put my
actually
name
asking
there.
this board to
You
modify
gotta be on the corner
this
somewhere.
variance so that the
see it
building
all.
owner,
You want me to put you back in the corner?
so you're the ones asking this, so we can allow him, the building owner, to get a building
Because we're
permit?
just trying to get it resolved.
Yeah, so
Because
it's
it
the
is-
city that's asking him to come back today.
Right,
Thank you.
that's the only thing we can do.
All right, case number one.
alright, so, we just need to make sure he understands the process, he being the lawyer, if he brings a lawyer with him.
Yep.
And then, I think we're all okay giving him till his original deadline for him to get a building permit.
Thursday.
Yeah, the only thing you'd be changing is who can apply.
Yeah.
And just remind him that the deadline is still Thursday.
Okay,
So we strike that the builder has to get the permit, that the landowner can get the permit, but it still has to be done by
Right.
Thursday.
Right.
And Delane, wish you good luck.
Yep, makes sense to me.
I'll just keep
All
my
right.
mouth shut.
Now that we almost are ready to start,
Number
I
one,
noticed that we don't have any separation for all the chairs and stuff like that.
Right.
Is that due to what? Cause seem like we're in a worse situation as a county today than we
there
were
are no
3 months
COVID
ago.
distancing mandates
When
currently
when
in
the
place.
mandates changed, when they expired, all those public meeting things expired also, and it was a case-by-case basis on how you did it. You're not required to have the separation anymore, so.
But even with the Delta variant, as bad as it is around now, we chose
There's
now
no-
to do that?
There's no new distancing mandates in place though.
So we were doing it just because of the mandate, we weren't doing it because of the smartness. Okay,
I guess.
understood. I just find it strange with our county that we would be doing right.
When the went away. Course of,
Understood.
Circling back around. Administrative. Stand. Case number is home office for residential remodeling. The neighbor stating that they have a sign in their yard advertising their business, which is a no-no.
Yeah, but that sign is not a sign advertising their business.
And I
That
did
sign,
not make it by.
I did.
Okay,
I
good.
did. That sign is the same sign that people have in people's yard when they do work for you. Just like when many of us have been around and we've seen the builders
Mhm.
and then the roofing guy
Roofers.
who put the sign up there that says certain name, call this number or an email. That sign does not have his address. It has looks like a an email or a website or whatever, but that's it.
Okay.
Well,
It-
Bob would
that's
have
another
to say-
question,
But is
for
that only, is it for the sign for his business?
No, it's just, look, it says,
That's
whatever
somebody's
the
own
person's
work.
name is, D and J, whatever, remodeling. And then in small letters that is really difficult to see, and I have 20/25 vision
Okay.
down there, and
So-
that's it. No phone
But
number.
the sign is not representative of what he's asking for here.
I
It's not
don't,
his business, it's not his home occupation business sign, correct?
I think
it said about D and something remodeling is what it
What's this
said.
guy?
Huh?
Who's this guy? What's the business?
One,
One.
D something remodeling.
Okay, so
Remodeling,
if he's got a sign in his front yard that says D whatever remodeling, and that is his business, and it is at his house, he cannot have that sign. He can put a sign,
And a
if he's doing
customer's-
work at his house, or he's doing work at somebody else's house for 10 days, and then it's gotta go away.
Okay.
That's what we talking about this last
Yeah.
meeting.
Right.
And you told that somebody, it's just
Right,
10
so if
days.
he's got a sign there,
Yeah.
it can't stay there
Forever.
forever, and it's not even really, it doesn't need to be there.
He can
because
have that sign as a magnet on his truck,
Uh-huh. Yes, and it looks
Or
like
if
it
he's
should be
doing work on somebody else's
or,
house,
yeah, if
it
he's
can
doing
sit
work
out
at
there
your
doing that.
house,
Uh-huh,
he can have that
But
same
it's gotta
sign
come
for 10
down.
days.
okay. Now, because that sign has been there longer than 10 days.
Probably so,
No, I can tell you, I went by earlier than it's still there today.
yeah.
So we need to, he needs to
It moved to
take
cut
that,
the yard.
yeah, he needs to take that
If you
away.
drive in my house, I'm gonna
I don't
put
think
on for
we-
tacos, okay? Just kidding.
Are you serving tacos then?
Um,
What time?
yeah, we gotta,
I'll
Yeah,
be
we
fine.
got,
Come on.
move on, move
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
All
feel
right,
like I'm at work.
next.
I had,
Come on.
Children?
the number of cars in the yard and in the driveway is not our business, nor is nor is it our problem,
Well-
I guess. That was part of the neighbor's
Yeah,
complaint.
the 3 times I drove by there, there was only 1 car in the driveway.
Okay.
But of course, I'm driving through there during like sunlight and regular time. It was not, quote, overnight. It would be like right now. I went by there on the way here.
Which tells me he doesn't have employees dropping off their car for them to all
Yeah,
get to work
and I'm
somewhere.
saying, it was sunlight and stuff when I went by there, so each time, and today is a regular day.
We need to stress that,
See, that's what you
Yeah, I
want
would-
next to the lane,
Dwayne, I
because
would
you need
agree
the extra
that
credit.
the number of
So-
cars is not
That's
our
exactly
concern.
right.
How they're there is another thing. If every inch is full, then that's not a BOZA issue. If they're coming in and leaving and coming in and leaving, so that it looks like a business, then
right, we need to
that's y'all.
stress
But if there's
that,
just a lot parked there, that's another
we need
issue.
to stress that employees
That-
cannot come to
That
the
was the complaint, which is vehicles, not work vehicles.
No, they.
minimum of 8 vehicles every day where they even park in the yard.
And the 3 times I went by there, that was not so. Now, I did not do that until we got the email, okay, that says that this is something for our study. So I got up and went over there, because it's around the corner from me, so.
You still get the extra points.
You too kind to me.
Yes.
Thank you.
In fact, I looked it up today and was gonna go by there and never made it by there. Okay. Case number 3, lawn care business, 2 off-street parking places, equipment stored in 2-car garage. Administrative office, record keeping, they've business name and phone number on 1 vehicle. So, standard for them. Case number 4, sewing and craft business, administrative office only. Standard for them. Case number 5, crawl space repair. I'm assuming they want an administrative office for their crawl space repair. Obviously, they would be doing that at somebody else's house. So, standard questions for that one. Case number 6, withdrew. Case number 7, online clothing store, home as an office only.
You said case number 6 withdrew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they,
In the notice, did we say number 7 was administrative office?
Whatever wrote on the agenda here.
Well, the agenda doesn't say administrative office.
That online clothing. Operating online clothing business.
So we'll just have to ask, are you doing drop shipping, or are you sending stuff out of your house, that kind of stuff?
Yep.
You know, that's all.
Let me think on that one. That may not be sufficient notice since it's administrative office. The reason I would think that it may be sufficient notice is that section 2510 deals with use permitted on appeal and covers that, so that may actually be noticed, but let me think on it between now and the time it comes up. It may not have given. Administrative office, though, is less invasive than actually operating the business, so if the notice went out that the business was gonna be operating there, not what they were actually looking for is administrative office, that may be all right, but I didn't notice it till I got down here, so
Okay.
let me think on that.
Now, this one, are you saying, they said that they want to use an office, is what I see. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that. They're not running the
That's
business.
what I seen. I want to use a home, I
Yeah,
said.
I'm looking
No,
at
I want to use
the,
a home.
The
I
actual
said, no,
application
I'm looking at the
says
blurb.
Not a home
the
office.
home is an office only.
right, but the issue is what went out
The
in the notice.
notification
Oh, okay,
Okay.
that part
to
I
all
don't
the
know.
neighbors that it
Okay.
didn't spell that out. It says it's
Right.
gonna run a business.
And so I'll think about it till the meeting. I think that we actually put out that it's more intrusive than it really is. It's gonna be okay, but let me
We
think.
don't have complaints based on what we
Right,
published,
right.
giving them
Because
this
if we
would be okay.
said administrative office only, and then we granted them a full-scale business, which wouldn't happen, then that'd be a problem, because they may have been all right with an administrative office, but not all right with a fully functioning business. And so the other way should be fine, but let me think on it.
Okay. Case number 8, residential remodeling. Again, assuming they want an administrative office for their residential remodeling, but standard questions about equipment, tools.
Okay. Madam Chair,
Yes,
as I read this one, they say my business residential remodeling, so they will need to modify this application by writing on it that they want to use as an office, use a room as an office? Because the application just says my business is residential remodeling, and I think that with what you said is true. But will they be required to come over and to visit Mr. Sims?
Yes.
I think a lot of these people think they're coming in here to get a business license to run their business. Not
Because
that
that's
they're
the first
coming in
thing.
here
Uh-huh,
to get permission to have the administrative office for their business.
okay.
So, Chip, I guess that's a you question. I don't really know what he's applying. I mean, he applied for home occupation.
Yeah, they probably,
Yeah.
it was, I don't think she needs to change it.
Okay.
It was,
That's
it
all I
was,
need to know.
it was, the notice was right, so.
Thank you. Next. But now. Setback there.
Trent is back.
8-foot
With the
setback,
sign.
size variance to be 6 feet wide, 5 feet high. This is the guy that was here last month that was confused.
So he wants 30 square feet instead of the 25?
He wants,
Okay.
and he has corrected the
8 and the 2 thing.
8 and the 2, so he'll be
Would be 2 foot behind the property line.
correct.
And it's gonna be a 1.5 foot higher, is that allowable? Okay.
Every time I pass that way, that's all I can think about since this meeting. Just keep on looking at his business and everything around.
Well, is he moving
Alright,
from down the street,
case
or are there
number
gonna be 2
10.
offices, or do you know?
It's gonna be 2.
Okay.
Is, I read this one, but I don't remember what it is. Katy Freeway, oh, Houston, Texas. What's, 1211 Beltline Road. All right, somebody tell me where this is.
On deck.
It is the Hyundai dealership?
The Hyundai is the billboard that sits out there behind that building.
They want to make it digital. No
So
foundation.
between that Tractor Supply place and
Well,
Hyundai?
yeah, if you come to that intersection, you know, you look
Yeah.
right there where the car wash bays are, there's a billboard sitting there.
Okay. And the variance is, they wanna perform more than $7,500.
Yeah, that's what our ordinance limits work to in a 12-month period on a billboard.
Okay.
Because they're making it digital.
Yeah, I mean, anytime, well, about to do any kind of, I mean, we did one out there in front of the milk plant. They added an extra beam for the sign. They had to take a beam out for the parking lot, parking, and had to move the beam, put in the beam. Well, that work cost more than the $7,500, you know, they weren't really doing anything to it, they didn't add a beam. And it's just that part of the ordinance, the dollar amounts now have exceeded in that period of time, you know, what somebody could actually get work done for.
Okay.
So,
So we're approving them to spend that money,
to be able
basically.
to spend that, you know, I've got how many $100,000 up there, it's a bunch to take those two static heads off, they're gonna redo it's not gonna be any bigger or any wider other than the V in it's gonna be a little bigger to hit the angles, and then they're gonna make it a digital board.
Okay.
What was the original intent of that?
Eliminate billboards.
Okay,
You know we're headed that way anyways.
gotcha.
I mean, it is, that's what the whole intent
Yeah.
of the billboard ordinance was, to
Yeah.
eliminate them, and then they got into the fight, and then they had to modify it and make it cap and replace.
Mhm.
You could move one, if you could take one down, if you own one, you could take it down and move it to another part of the city. But there's no more new billboards, unless they put them up illegally.
That's it.
Thank you.
So you have that in the title loan approval right here.
All right, case number 11.
Liquor permits and things out of the
Right.
Is a parking variance. Another restaurant instead of retail.
Where is this one at?
This is over at the
In
cross
front
from
of,
Second Street,
front of Walmart.
Reddy's Frozen Vegetables.
I'm gonna have to withdraw from, I
There'll be
have to
two.
withdraw from that one.
There's two retail, or two sidebar, two other units going in there. Had to have a parking area because they couldn't squeeze it all in there.
You hear me?
Would you say you're gonna
Yeah.
recuse
I have to
yourself?
recuse from that.
Is this a competitor?
No, it's just actually, I'm doing business with them, so I'm just kidding.
All right, so in a nutshell, let me read this again.
It's a good friend, actually.
So, they need 100 for both spaces, both restaurants combined, they will have 79. And their logic is, what would be, well, I guess we don't know the size of that building, what would be the parking required just for the Mexican restaurant? I get their point, Freddy's is gonna be mostly drive-through, and the Mexican restaurant's not using their whole square footage of the building.
Was 4,323 square feet, so if one space for 75, they need 58.
And Freddy's is how big?
Freddy's 3150, so
Maybe.
they need 42. And then you got that other retail space that's 1 to 250, so they only need 18 if it's just retail.
I guess my question is, parking lot's a parking lot, and that space is only as big as it is, so how do we force? Can't force more parking when there's not more blacktop there.
Well, that's just it, you just can't put more business on a lot that ain't got any parking. I
But,
mean, that's called planning.
well, in their defense, their studies show that most of their customers are drive-through
Right.
per their studies. So therefore, with the quantity of customers that they think that they would have, there is no park,
Yeah. And
7
that's-
out of 10 people coming through the drive-through.
And that's why you're here, to help make that determination whether it be okay or not. Because our ordinance says you gotta have this.
But
Why our ordinance is based off, what it's based off of
yes,
is, who knows?
well,
But it's, it is what it is.
Sure.
So in order to get around that, we gotta get somewhere else.
I follow what you're sharing. Our ordinance is based on a
I
business
do.
model that says a restaurant with
Yeah.
this quantity, this size,
Right.
needs this number
Right.
of parking spots.
Right.
And what we're doing now is looking and making a reasonable determination
Right.
whether or not we can relax
Right.
said requirement.
Right.
Well, and I guess the original plans were a restaurant and a retail,
Two
and now it's,
retails, yes.
and now it's a restaurant and a
Yeah,
restaurant.
they went from 2 retail spaces to decided, well, I think we can give it another.
Well, how much seating is gonna be inside both places?
I'm not sure.
They say on here,
It does
They
They
said,
mentioned 80 seats.
80 for Freddy's and 50 for the Mexican
80
restaurant.
seats for Freddy's.
That's what, 20
And it's
20
gonna
tables,
die.
basically?
oh, there's some families big. Yeah.
80 seats, that'd be 20 booths, 20 tables, roughly.
Well, it just depends on how you set it up.
Yeah.
That's 4 full set of tables, yeah.
But I do agree that most of that's gonna be drive-through.
Well, that's what they say.
Well, I mean, it's a, from what I understand, Freddy's is kind of like a
I have no idea, but
drive-through
Most
kind
of it's gonna be drive-through, that's an awful lot of seats to have.
probably banking on soccer tournaments, softball tournaments, and
yeah.
people with lots of little kids coming.
So is there gonna be, if the parking lot was full,
Yeah,
where,
you got
where,
Walmart.
where would somebody park?
Over Walmart.
Walmart.
Across the street?
No,
Or
they're
same
gonna park
side
over
of
there
the
at
street.
Planet
Yeah,
Fitness.
It's where that, house
That's on the other
was
side of
in
the
front
road.
of Walmart.
They're gonna park on the
That's
gas
where
station
it is.
side.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's on?
Yeah, it's in front of that, it's,
She
you
had
know,
a lot
turn
for
in.
state.
like
Where
you
the old
go to
White
gas
House
station. It's in front of the gas
She
station,
died.
where the old house
That
is.
probably
Yes,
where
as I look at the building,
Walmart or something.
I was wondering,
Yeah, you got that big road that turns into
Sure,
Walmart.
yes.
They're not gonna cross it, they're gonna cross
Oh.
through the parking lot.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's,
That's dangerous. Okay.
Right,
So,
But they probably don't have a parking street.
would definitely.
People do it anyway. But there's an agreement with them. That's the-
Yeah,
put the car down anyway.
that's right.
Right, and
Nancy.
it's, and you wanna try to,
Is
if
it coming in here or is it
have,
just out
I don't know.
you know, if you've got
What we
seats,
say?
200 people, you got parking, 10 cars,
Yeah.
then those,
What
they're gonna
happened?
park in the street.
All right, you're gonna have to turn around and look in the lobby to know who we're talking about. What happened with that?
Other than.
The guy that's been here twice.
Well,
Or on street
he
parking,
has
I'm sorry.
submitted plans to build a house. And now he has submitted plans, but the house, when he submitted the plans, it was like
Okay.
a 100 square foot house or something.
Yeah.
To
Hey, sir.
build this up to a house.
It is.
Why is he here?
This is a pre-meeting.
Oh,
This is where they just, fill it out.
Last week.
okay.
So they kind of.
He's saying he's coming in here, he may be going to.
You may
That's
be
true.
able to building department, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because he's
Oh,
turned
yeah,
his plans in,
You call up,
he's
you
had to
run
make
over
some
there.
corrections on that.
Okay, so maybe he's not here.
What do you want to do?
Maybe.
We don't have to entertain him at all, he's not on the agenda. I wouldn't entertain him at all.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good.
Upstairs. Microphone.
department was looking at their site plan, they determined they needed more parking than they actually had. Is
Well,
how that
when they
would have
came
come
back
up.
with the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, when it
Everything
changed,
was fine until.
when it changed from a retail to a restaurant.
So it was it's the contractor asking for that variance,
Right.
not
very
anybody planning on occupying this
Well,
restaurant.
I think they got somebody going to put in there,
Yep.
Who owns it?
developer of that whole
Used to be Barrett Shop.
little arena there.
And then obviously the occupants,
I thought Barrett was the son.
I would hope.
if they're agreeing to go in there, they know how much parking's gonna be there.
Right. They just didn't, it was really just two shelves.
Yeah, well,
I'm
what's
not
his
sure they
son's
knew
name?
what
The guy
was
that's-
over there, but
Well,
somebody
he's not in the
said
drawing now.
this year.
He's on there at Barrett's.
Oh,
That wasn't part of the original.
I don't know.
two restaurants.
Yep.
I don't think, I think it
No,
was
we're
just
gonna find
original,
out.
like there were two retail spaces. The other
Yep.
restaurant kicked in and then they went out.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Naturally,
You don't come to the Monday night meetings. I don't know why you don't come in there and council meetings. They're a lot of fun. You should be there.
I ain't high enough up on the chain.
That's wrestling.
Monday Night Football's coming, I mean.
That's wrestling.
Okay.
Right.
That's what it is.
Nobody has time for
I couldn't remember.
Monday
John,
Night Football.
I knew
John,
Barrett.
is this on?
His dad.
Is this on the mic?
Yes, well, y'all still are broadcasting that.
Okay,
There's Mr. Longy.
never mind. I'll pay that later.
You broadcast, that's what Rick and Bubba says all the time, you broadcast, remember you broadcast.
Who's he for? Is he his legal advisor? Maybe so. You're out here together.
I have determined that the notice is all right on that one.
Okay. Do we do,
Yes,
Oh.
because they can always do that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's why
But
I
it,
said they were-
but it's a red flag that it did say administrative officer there,
You
so.
you might as well ask what you want.
Right.
Because they can always give less.
Yeah,
You can
right.
give more.
Don't
No,
have
I'm
to.
just an older
You do
guy.
it when you want.
I recall being young, growing up in the Mid-South. Monday night was the night of the wrestling match at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Yes. Arn Anderson.
Yes.
Face Jack Calhoun.
Yeah, Jerry the King
Jerry
Lawler.
the King Lawler.
Yes,
Yeah, that
Austin
one of those,
Idol.
I think one was A&E or one of those channels, they had a run there for a while, they had, it started out with Andre, and then it worked its way to Macho Man,
Uh-huh.
to,
Macho Man was in Memphis too.
they had a thing on the Macho Man, they had a thing on,
All those wrestlers, yeah. I remember.
Stone Cold, they had Stone Cold in there, but they did like a series of guys that wrestled with youth wrestling. I think they had Flair, they had Hogan, they did like the stories, you know, basically their career, how it all went.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Bob, you old enough to remember when Huntsville had their own, and they had, like on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, they had actual Huntsville wrestlers that were
All I remember,
Sojo Yamamoto.
Yeah, the guys out of Memphis, yeah. Uh-huh.
the
Jerry
only ones I
Wrestling.
vividly remember is when Mr. Ted Turner started up his stuff.
Right.
Yes, and that's, I remember that portion of it, and then very soon after that, WWF
Right.
rolled through. And that is in '82 was Silver Dollar,
Mhm.
you know, that, WrestleMania 3. So, I mean, that was not kind of the '80s.
Grady Reeves, Channel 19,
Grady.
called it, and he was the Sojo Yamamoto, he could take his shoe off.
Yeah, wooden shoe.
Grady Rude.
Yes.
Not just a shoe, a wooden.
Y'all making me remember stuff I thought about in a long time. I remember that name.
Just wait till you're old.
Yes, sir. And you will remember it with nostalgia.
You didn't make a move on him, Monday, so Greg said so.
He used to come out, when I worked at Point Mallard, he would come out there every Memorial Day. And I would be turning the waves on, and he would interview me. And all my family would get up to watch Morning Folks all the time anyway. And when I came on, they started calling my grandmother. Chip's on the TV. Right after him. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
it's 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Down, way down an old, The Board of Zoning and Adjustments of the City of Decatur is now in session. You're before the Board of Zoning and Adjustments today seeking special consideration to an ordinance based on special conditions, or the literal enforcement of an ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship for you, or there's been an error in the enforcement of the ordinance. It will require 4 favorable votes from the board to approve any request presented today. Please come forward when your name is called and state your name and address and what you want this board to do. All cases will be called in the docketed order. Once your case has been heard, please see Nancy Whiteside, after which you are free to leave. Please call the roll.
Lane Dean.
Here.
Suzanne Salcido.
Here.
Stephen Thomas.
Here.
Larry Wade.
Here.
Brad Town.
Here.
Are there any corrections to the minutes of the last held meeting?
Oh, man.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Say.
All right.
All right, several of y'all are here today looking for an administrative office, so to save time and not have to say the same thing every time somebody comes up, I'm gonna run through some of the things that go along with having an administrative office, like employees. You can have employees, but they cannot report to your house unless they live at your house with you already. So they have to meet you at your job site or at a restaurant, just somewhere other than your house. You just can't have people coming to your house to report to work. You can have advertising, social media, signs on your vehicles, business cards. On that, you can have name, phone number, email address, social media address. You cannot list your home address on any of your advertisement. Customers may not come to your house. Again, you've got to meet them off-site, their house, at a public place, a business, whatever. They just can't come to your house. And deliveries should be by standard methods in a residential district, like FedEx, UPS, post office. We don't want 18-wheelers full of inventory of whatever coming to, up and down the residential streets. So when your case is called and you come forward, again, state your name, address, and your request. If you're in here right now, just acknowledge that you heard and understood those, or if you have any questions about those rules, then ask those. So please call the first case.
Case number 1, application to Robin Crowe, termination as use permitted on Appeal Section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to operate administrative office for a craft sewing and home interior business located at 3704 South Chapel Hill Road, Southwest. Property is located in the AG1 Agricultural Zone District. Crowe?
I'm gonna move that to the end.
Case number 2, application to appeal of Juan G. for a determination as a use permit on Appeal Section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to operate administrative office for residential remodeling business located at 3110 Battlement Road Southwest. Property is located in R2 Single Family Zone District.
You want me to make sure people are out in the lobby or?
Sure,
Huh?
sure.
Okay.
I thought maybe we had speakers outside. I guess they don't.
I'm very light
Yeah, let me
around,
see the closed doors, I think, to come in.
very like.
There's a sign on the door that says live broadcast, do not enter, so,
Oh, well, that would be a problem.
live broadcast, do not enter.
Oh, well, yeah,
So-
that would probably turn someone away.
Great.
Next.
He doesn't round up either one of those 2 cases out in the lobby.
We could set the record, Bob. We could set the record, new record.
Well, we might.
Huh?
All right, y'all wanna move on to 3?
Case number 3.
Application to appeal of Dan Clemens for termination as use permit on Appeal Section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to operate administrative office for a lawn care business located at 722 3rd Avenue South. Property located in the R4 multifamily zone district.
Hello, my name is Diana Clemens. I live at 722 3rd Avenue Southeast, and I would like to operate an administrative office out of my home. I do understand all the rules that you just mentioned about having no employees. I'm the only employee there. We'll put a little advertisement on the truck, but nothing else like that. No deliveries. I'll meet all customers off-site at their homes or wherever.
You talked about equipment and all that, and you have a great application.
Thank you.
You saved us a lot of questions. Any questions from the board?
No question.
Any comments from the public? Comments from the building department?
No comment.
Comments from the planning department?
My only comment, it may be in your packet, but I see you're in a multifamily residential area. Do you own the property?
We do,
Oh,
we
okay.
do. We've lived there since 1996.
And that's the end of that question.
Okay.
Because sometimes when people rent, it's like to
Oh,
make sure
yeah,
they
yeah.
have permission.
It was originally 2 apartments, basically, but when we moved in, we just made it 1. It was a family deal anyway, mother-in-law kind of a situation before, so.
Thank you.
Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the application as submitted and presented in public testimony today.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Lane Dean,
Yes.
Susanna Cecil,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Larry Wade,
Yes.
Brad Townsend.
Yes.
You have been approved.
Thank you.
You'll see Nancy.
All right, case number 4, application to appeal Cassie Gaskin for a determination as a use permit on appeal from section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to operate administrative office for a craft and sewing business located at 2517 Circle Drive Southeast. Property located in R1 single family zone district.
Hello, my name is Casey Gaskin at 2517 Circle Drive Southeast. I also would like to run administrative offices out of my home. There will be no foot traffic. It's online business. Basically, I'll be sewing children's clothes, making t-shirts with vinyl and sublimation. So,
How big is your equipment you're using?
it's not super huge. It fits in one room. I have a heat press, a cutting machine, sewing machine, and serger.
Okay. Like on a kitchen table kind of size?
Basically.
I mean, a standard heat
Yeah,
press and
yeah.
not commercial
Right.
grade, okay. All right, other questions from the board?
No questions.
No question.
No question.
Comments from the public? Comments from the building department?
Comment.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Susanna Cecil,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Larry Wade,
Yes.
Brad Townsend,
Yes.
Lane Dean.
Yes, you have been approved. Good luck.
Case number 5, application to appeal Myra Thomas for a termination as use permit on appeal section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to have an administrative office for a crawl space repair business located at 1504 11th Avenue Southeast. Property located in the R2 single family zone district. Thomas?
Recommend to move number 5 to bid.
All right, case number 6 was withdrawn. So case number 7.
Application to appeal Travis Bates for determination as use permit on appeal section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to have administrative, to operate an online clothing business located at 306 Denver Place Southwest. Property is located in R5, single family patio home district. Bates?
Move it to the end.
We are gonna set a record.
We are gonna set a record. It's gonna be the fastest meeting ever.
That was 11 minutes ago.
Mojo. Okay, case number 8, application to Alexa Ramirez for determination as use permit on appeal section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to operate administrative office for a residential remodeling business located at 1515 Phillips Avenue Southwest. Property is located in a R3 single family zoning district. We got a win.
I want to start
If you'll state your name and your address for the record,
okay.
please.
Alexis Saavedra Ramirez, 1515 Phillips Avenue Southwest, Decatur, Alabama. And my business is residential remodeling. I want to start a business in remodeling.
So what you're asking us for today, if I understand correctly, is to be able to use one room of your house to run this business, to do your administrative work and paperwork?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board?
Did you understand the things, I'm sorry.
No, you, sir.
Did you understand the things she stated at the beginning where you're here about no
Yeah, yeah.
employees come to your house?
Yeah,
All
all
of
that.
those items?
Yes.
Yes,
I
okay.
understood.
All right, my question was gonna be, in your residential remodeling, what type of remodeling are you going to do? Because that would lead maybe to some questions about how much equipment you're gonna have. Is it landscaping remodeling or is it interior remodeling?
Interior remodeling.
Interior, okay.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna keep your equipment?
At my home in 1515 Phillips Avenue.
And what kind of equipment will you have?
Like construction, like stuff like drills, all that.
I mean,
like
small
saw-
tools,
yeah, small
ladders,
tools.
tools,
Yeah,
hammers,
the
nothing
big-
big.
yeah.
You're not using forklifts and
Oh no, nothing like
cherry
that.
lifts and
Yeah.
other questions from the board?
My question is gonna be in the area of, you're asking to run the business and I guess I'm interested in the level of, you're gonna start a business and what experience do you have in doing this? I guess is where I'm going, because, you know, just once you start a business.
I
you
have
don't-
done some jobs with my dad, so I know like what to do and stuff like that. Just
Oh, okay.
so yeah,
Good.
we've done stuff with.
I got some experience then. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Comments from the public? Comments from the building department?
No comment.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I offer motion for the approval for the request that's presented here today.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Barry Wade,
Yes.
Brad Townsend,
Yes.
Lane Dean,
Yes,
Suzanne Stewart.
Yes.
you've been approved.
Alright,
Case number 9.
Number 9, application fill Trent Standards Country Financial for the following 5-foot area variance, 1.5-foot height variance, 8-foot setback variance from section 2578D in order to install a sign located at 713 6th Avenue Southeast, property located in the B6 Business Office Zoning District. Okay. Oh, look outside.
You think they're all hiding?
Nancy, the note at the bottom, that's just been dismissed, right? Where it says hold?
Nobody hiding in the hallway?
Transfer that one to the end also. Madam Chair.
Case number 10.
Alright, case 10, all those guys here, application and appeal of MH Outdoor Media from section 257218 in order to perform work that exceeds $7,500 to an off-premise sign located at 1211 Beltline Road, property located in M1A Express Commercial District.
Hello, my name's Thomas Thrash. The work is at 1211 Beltline Road Southwest. And we're asking just to put a digital billboard on existing location. Size, height, all that will remain the same. It's just the only alteration is the digital billboard and the electrical. We're also widening the end of it a little bit to get a better read towards the traffic.
Questions from the board?
I have no question.
No, no questions.
Comments from the public? Comments from the building department?
No comment.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application as submitted and presented today.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Barry Wade,
Yes.
Brad Townsend,
Yes.
Lane Dean,
Yes,
Suzanne Stewart,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas.
Yes.
you've been approved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And the permit.
Sir?
And the permit.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure they have a state DC.
I did, and then I also got the stamped prints. The prints that I gave you were preliminaries because they're backed up, but they emailed them to me tonight, so I got the official print.
Okay, alright, thank you. Alright, Case number 11. Application appeal of Shoal Engineering, section 25, 16-2F for 21 space parking variance. For a restaurant located at, or the business is gonna be located at 2900 Spring Avenue, Southwest. Property is located in the M1A Express Commercial District.
My name is Liz Wilmot. I'm here representing Shoal and the owner of this property. Essentially what we're asking for is to share 21 parking spaces between two restaurants. When this site was originally permitted in September of 2020, we were proposing half of the building to be used as a Freddy's restaurant and half of the building to be used as two retail spaces. The owner is entertaining the idea of using that retail space for an additional restaurant. Right now, the restaurant chain that he is talking to only requires 2,500 square feet, or half of the building footprint, or half of the remaining building footprint. They would like to use the other half of their building footprint for storage. They're trying to establish a chain in the area, and so they would use it as storage for those other restaurants when they come. Right now, our variance is for parking. The owner of the Freddy's owns a Freddy's franchise in Madison, on Balch Road in 72, and that was opened early last year. From his experience owning that restaurant, he says 70% of his traffic is through the drive-through. That site had one single lane drive-through, and so this one has two to accommodate that. What with COVID and everyone really is just trying to stick to the drive-through. So I guess one of our conditions is that since we're trying to give that half of the building to the restaurant, even though they're only using half of it for seating, the other half is still considered restaurant, and so the square footage of the parking requirement applies to the entire restaurant. So in our request, if we were able to only consider the half of the restaurant that was going to be used for seating, we are providing that parking with the addition of 14 more spaces where we were able to find space on site.
So there's not gonna be retail space
No, there's
anymore,
not.
so just the two restaurants?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board?
Did I understand you correctly that if you were only using the half where you're gonna have the restaurant, not the storage, there already would be sufficient parking?
Yes, we're working on updating the construction documents to add 14 more spaces.
right.
I've highlighted those.
Yes.
And with that, we are providing a total of 79 spaces.
Sure.
Instead of originally 65.
But because the building has to all be considered,
Correct.
that's why you need
Yeah,
the
since
variance
it's
for
based
21
on gross
spaces.
square footage.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, thank you very much, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps. Any other questions from the board?
That cleared up question.
Comments from the public? Comments from the building department? Comments from the planning department?
I only have a couple of thoughts with it, and it's really a little bit directed towards Jeff. My only concern to not this situation, but just a general situation, if someone could come in and say we're using half for storage, this is the restaurant, we give a variance, and then they can come back and say, now we want to use this for restaurant. Is there any way to codify it through the meeting that this is the limitation? In other words, the square footage that we're.
Yeah, we've done that before. What they would do is say that they're granting the variance with the condition that the remainder of the building not be converted to restaurant use or other use.
Well, I understand the application is that they're considering the entire footprint as restaurant, and the 21 additional square space, the variance is to cover that, even though they're specifying it's being used for storage.
But I think they're counting the square footage of just the half of it.
No, I understand it's the square footage of the whole thing.
It's the square footage of that 4,000 square foot space.
Right.
So that goes to, since
That's the whole half, or
that's
just?
from what it looks like, it's the
Yes.
whole half.
It's the whole half.
Yes,
Permitted
that's
as a
correct.
restaurant, originally permitted as a retail space, so there's two halves, there's two 4,000 square foot places. And so one would be a retail and one would be the other, but they're only using half of the half on that side. So, but they still,
They got a
They're
class,
not building firewalls between them to
Right.
make it all one, or, you know, they're not gonna move that wall just to make it half,
Right.
you know.
But I think your
So we
point
have to count
is,
it as a whole.
if we approve this and then say that restaurant doesn't come, and another restaurant wants to use the whole 4,000 square feet, then we have,
we've already, that's what
But
we're
that's-
considering.
right.
So,
But can we put a stipulation that it is,
I think Bob is saying that if that whole half stays a restaurant, that there's sufficient parking there.
With the-
Correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So just picture, don't even think about half of the half. Just say it's the whole parking. It's the whole,
Right.
it's the whole half.
And the
It's the
very,
whole half, not the quarter of the half. But
You told me not to
essentially
think about
that's-
half.
Yeah, so essentially,
Liz will get you a
just think of it as they need a parking grant for that
21.
4,000 square feet. Now, they figured it, that they got the extra because they're already gonna be using half, so, but we're gonna figure it just as them using the whole thing.
Sure.
Is that enough?
So that's what the variance for 21 spaces includes.
Right.
The whole thing. So
The
we
whole
don't need
thing,
to
not-
specify anything else, because it already includes that as a restaurant.
Right,
Right, so there doesn't need to be
that's why we
a
went,
condition.
Well, it doesn't need to be a condition, because
Correct.
they're having to use the whole square
Right.
foot of the
Right.
footprint
Right.
for the parking.
Correct.
And we're giving the variance for 21
right.
primarily
They came up with
because
some-
Freddy's is basically a drive-through and not a sit-down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay?
you have more questions? Did we answer your question? In a roundabout half of a half of a?
We'll translate it together.
Yes. That does make sense, though. We're granting
Yeah.
basically a
On the whole
21
footprint,
parking
yeah.
spot variance on that lot and the
Yeah,
usage
and the
of
whole-
those square feet.
It's a combined effort, you know,
Yeah.
between it all. It's, you know, we had planned shopping center parking, this is kinda like that, but on a smaller scale. But when you've got more than one use, you have to use the greater of the uses.
Right.
And so, you know, to combine those two, well, this one may not generate as much business or whatever, but we're still, it's a lot, it's enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's what they're at, that's basically what they're saying. It's gonna be enough.
Gotcha. All right, any other questions from the board, the public, the building department, or the planning department? Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
She's recusing, so.
Oh,
You meant to do it.
She needs 4.
yeah, and so I do need to tell you, we had one board member recuse herself from this case. So you will have to get a yes from all 4 remaining members.
Okay.
For it to be approved. So,
I
is
make
there
a motion that we approve the application as submitted in public testimony today.
Is there a second?
Yes, it is. Second.
Please call the roll.
Brad Townsend,
Yes.
Lane Dean,
Yes,
Ron Cecile,
she recused
oh,
herself.
that's right. Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Larry Wade.
Yes.
It's been approved.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, back to case number 1.
Case 1, let's see what we got. Robin Crow. Robin Crow? No Robin Crow. 1. Yep. Case number 2.
I'm just helping him translate.
Okay.
He doesn't speak English.
All right, if you will state his name and address and what he is asking us to do today.
Okay, his name is Juan Guillermo Duque. The address is 3110 Beltline Road Southwest, here in Decatur, Alabama, 35603. He's asking to get his license, and the address that he's asking the license for is mainly to keep us an office, which I'll be running, just to keep paperwork and do our estimates and all of that. Other than that, it will be nothing else. It's just mainly our headquarters, if you want to call it like that.
Okay. And you are,
The daughter,
okay, will you state your name for the record?
Camila Duque.
Okay. And do you live at this address?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, before you guys came in, I went over some things about administrative offices for businesses like this. I'm gonna throw them again for you guys, but employees cannot report to your house to come to work. So if you guys have employees, they need to meet you at the job site.
Yes, ma'am.
Advertising is, it's allowed. It cannot have your address on the advertising. You can have, you know, email, phone, social media, you can have magnets on your truck, you know, business cards, whatever, but you
Yes,
just
ma'am.
cannot list your home address. Customers can't come to your house.
Yes,
You've
ma'am.
gotta meet them off-site, and then deliveries need to be by standard methods in a residential neighborhood, you know, FedEx, UPS, post office.
Yes,
Not big trucks coming in with,
We're not, yeah, no.
with
It's just
equipment
mainly
and-
our office.
and those kind of things. All right, questions from the board?
I don't have any.
One statement, signage, as far as on the property and things like that. We know that when you're advertising, for example, if you do perform a renovation for someone, the city has an ordinance that says that you can place a sign in someone's yard for 10 days, but after that, it must be removed. And so, and that's for places that you have performed renovations. It would not be okay to have a sign like that in your front yard or something
Okay.
like that, okay?
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
So, you guys need to take the sign down.
Yes.
It's the short version of that.
So básicamente, cuando ponen letreros y eso, no los podemos dejar más de 10 días en la casa de los clientes, se tienen que quitar después de 10 días. Y, o sea, está bien que hagamos publicidad, pero no podemos hacerlo desde nuestra casa tampoco, ¿ok?
Yeah, you can put that same sign if you're doing work at a house. Like I said, you can put it there for 10 days and then it needs to be removed. But yeah, you just can't have one in your, unless you're doing work on your own house.
Okay.
You just need to take that one down.
All right.
All right, any other questions from the board?
I do not.
Comments from the public? Comments from the building department? Comments from the planning department? Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I offer motion for the approval of the request presented before the board today.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Lane Dean,
Yes.
James Cecil,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Larry Wade,
Yes?
Brad Townsend.
Yes.
You've been approved.
Thank you.
You'll stop and see Nancy right here. All right, case 5.
Myra Thomas? Myra Thomas? Okay, no Thomas?
Who, I said,
Case
7,
7.
Travis Bates? No Travis Bates. We got a Ramirez, didn't we?
Yeah, we got Ramirez.
Trent?
Is case number.
Case number 9.
Oh, and we could have beat the record, but Trent showed up.
Hopefully it'll be better this time.
Did you study?
I said hopefully it'll be better this time.
State your name.
My name is Trent Standridge. Address is 713 6th Avenue. And I'm asking for a 8-foot setback variance for my sign and a 1.5-foot height variance. So to clarify, I'm asking it to be 6 feet tall and 5 feet wide.
All right. Questions from the board?
Yes, you said 6 feet
So
tall and
backward.
5 feet wide?
Mm-hmm.
Backwards.
And you have on your permit 6 feet wide and 5 feet tall.
I'm sorry, 6 feet wide and 5 feet tall. I'm glad you clarified.
The application is correct.
The application is correct.
Okay.
And that's the structure and the sign and the
That's with the brick and
brick
everything.
and everything about it. All right, other questions from the board?
No, no questions.
Comments from the public? We're running out of public. Comments from the building department?
No comment.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
Public testimony is now closed. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I offer motion for the approval of the request from Trent Standards Country Finance.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Susanna Cecil,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Larry Wade,
Yes.
Brad Townsend,
Yes.
Lane Dean.
Yes. You've been approved.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
All right. Yes, we have to do our old business.
All right, this is going to be for Mr. Jesse Longing to revisit the requirements of variance from the May 2021 case. Shalom.
I don't see my attorney from Bernie and Bernie. I guess they had extra court thing. I also don't see Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, who are the prime contractor for the work that was done at the house. So I'm on my own, which I normally am anyway. But explain about the carport. You saw parts of it when last time I was here. The carport is over the concrete driveway. It's on the property. It's not even close to the property line. I haven't had any problems with any of the neighbors. No one's had any complaints. Now, I think Mr. Sims, Mr. Sims. I've had conversation with you, and you've talked with Mrs. Anderson, and I don't know if you've talked to the people at Tennessee.
I couldn't get them, no.
All right. People at Tennessee Steel are a big contractor. I understand now that they're spending most of their time up in Nashville, and they're also working on the arsenal. And that's all I can tell you about their work, government work or other work. But they're reputable. And I checked them out before Mrs. Anderson selected them. Now, the carport is a temporary portable structure. We could take it down in about 2 hours, no problem. If that's the decision of this board here, we'll do it. My attorney says that the fact is that even though the carport, there was an effort made through Mrs. Anderson to obtain any kind of permissions or whatever to build there. She was under the assumption that it's portable and removable, and that there's usually no restrictions on it. It's not there are at least 8, and I counted them out, 8 carports that are built like it, but not as good as it. I mean, they're aluminum. And there's some close to Danville Road. You could go down Danville Road and you'll see them. They go right up to the road. So, you know, they're built like right to the house. I'm sure that Mrs. Anderson took that into consideration, but she probably should have told us that there'd be a problem if, in fact, there was some question about it being improper or it being not portable enough. I don't know, but I could say 2 hours, we'll have it. It could be down. I'm a little at a loss as to why the emphasis is on my son's home versus all the neighbors that have carports. You can go by, and I went by and I talked to a couple of the owners of the carports and asked if they had to come through a board like this. And they said no. They left it to their contractor, and he took money from them for the permission. That's what they told me. I interviewed with 3 contractors, 3 sales people. The first one has businesses in Huntsville, Athens, and here. He said he won't build anything. He'll do portable buildings, and he'll put them on your lot. He won't do carports. He said there's too much ruckus with it, and he says he didn't want to go through that. Okay, the second one said, second contractor said, I've built about half a dozen carports, but now you're in the city, I might not be able to do the city. I can do the county like I've been doing. So I said, what would it take to do the city? He says, extra money. You're gonna have to pay somebody. I said, pay him for what? Permission. I said, okay. That didn't bother me because I'm used to that situation. I was a contracting officer at the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command. I did a lot of business with contractors all over. But now that's Huntsville, and we were on the Arsenal part of the time, and part of the time we were down in Research Park. And we didn't have any problems. But anyway, the third person, maybe, he left it to me to say, told me the conditions of it being on your property, being non-intrusive, being that it's portable. You can't go down 20 feet with pylons. So I told him, I said, yeah, I think we met all that. He says, well, I'll do it for you. It's going to cost you some extra money. There's some people I got to pay. That's all he said. I said, I take your word at that. And I said, I can't argue with you. Whether you'd have to do it at night, put this structure up, it still is a problem. So anyway, left it at that. That's when I went and saw Bernie and Bernie. They've been in court. I think they're shorthanded, but they've been in court. And I asked Mrs. Anderson to come, and she won't come. She says, I ain't going. I ain't going there. She said, I did the best I could, and I gave you a portable building that's on your property, that's over your concrete driveway, where it's supposed to be. And I said, okay. That's all she do. She said she might come, but then I didn't think she would. I mean, it's not far from Hazel Green to here, but she doesn't want to go through this. So.
Chip, stop me if I say something. I guess 2 months ago, we approved the fact that it was a portable building on your property over the driveway with the conditions that a building permit be, processed after the fact, since it had already been built. And then last month, a timeline was put onto that to give, a 30 days to get that. From what I hear, the builder's not gonna do that. They're not gonna come back.
The subcontractor is not gonna do anything. In fact, he basically, what he is a subcontractor to Mrs. Anderson.
Right.
Now, Mrs. Anderson, she wants to help me out. I bought up in Hazel Green, I bought a portable wood structure building from her, from my property up in Hazel Green. And she was terrific. People that did that work brought it in, laid it down. It could be lifted up and taken out of there, off my property. But she's reputable and she means well, but she didn't maybe have all the facts. Now, she said that she got into a problem similar to this up in Elkmont, but she didn't tell me what happened or how it turned out. I am sorry, let me tell you where my situation is now, why I'm living with my son. I'm here recruiting for a school, primary school, we're looking for locations, but we're gonna employ about 75 educators and not household, but people to work in the kitchen for this school. And I've got it to where you have some good structure, you have some buildings here that I could use, that could be used. And a lot of it, my being here, depended on me finding something. I've got some people that are wanting to help me, but I didn't get any support from the city here. If I go to the county, it's a little bit better. But, you know, it looks like, I'm gonna tell you right now, that my wife and I will be moving back to Hazel Green, or we may move to Madison. Madison is real receptive. We're gonna probably put a school there.
All right, none of that is really relevant to
I
what
know.
we're talking about today. I mean, I appreciate it, but, and I think as a board, what we have approved still stands. What, I guess the condition is now you guys can't get a building permit from the builder, which is what we, you know, put in the original agreement. I believe what we have discussed here is if you can get a building permit, you know, you still have the right to get a building permit. I believe we need to change what we agreed to in the beginning and allow you to apply for the building permit instead of requiring the builder to apply.
I've had building permits as a contracting officer. In fact, what we did, we secured several buildings in Huntsville. One is 106 Wind Drive. And this was after 9/11. And we put in secure posts and secure things with the building. I can't tell you what we did, but we did that. There wasn't any incidents at all. We didn't have any problems. And we had there's a Muslim church down the street on Sparkman Drive, and those people were just terrific. They were terrific. The imam was terrific. But we didn't have to worry about, I had contractors that got permits and did whatever. I didn't have to get the permit, so not aware of what's involved. But now, when I came here first, they told me for the permit, and they said permit, pay $50 to the cashier over upstairs.
Can someone maybe give him,
And-
you know, tell him where he needs to apply for that?
We come to the for City Hall to get a
And we
permit.
did.
The
I paid.
$50 probably was for this meeting.
Well, what I found out later on, it's just to come to this meeting.
Right. Because
I
you
didn't
didn't have permission to put the building up in the spot that you was gonna put it up.
Well, I admitted
And then
that it
now-
was put up by a contractor.
Who didn't know what he did.
He
Or
didn't know what it was, what the situation was. Hadn't been into that, has built structures here. He has done some in the city. But you don't know about it. But he did put up structures out in the county. And he did a bunch over in Madison County. That's where I got his background and so forth, but.
Can I say something?
I guess we do believe you acted in good faith,
I don't think the issue is the builder. I don't think the issue is whether they're reputable or not, or the Andersons are reputable. I think it's just a matter of process.
Okay.
Before you build a building, you're supposed to get a building permit. The building was built without a building permit. In order to build it where they put it, you needed to have a variance because that wasn't under the normal guidelines of where they could put that kind of a building. So that's why you would come to this meeting, for us to grant a variance to have the building. So this board granted that variance actually after the fact.
Yeah.
Because the building was already up. And one of the conditions was that the builder would come and simply get a building permit, which is the normal process. Well, if the builder's not going to, what we're willing to today is to allow you to get that building permit.
All right.
You'd still need to meet the guideline of the 30-day extension, which ends Thursday. So you'd have to go to the 4th floor and get the building permit by Thursday. Then the variance that this board granted would be in effect, and then you could move forward based on the building permit. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I mean, I have, like I said, I've had buildings and structures put up, but I never had to put in for a building permit.
Well, That's just a
It's always
fourth
my
floor
contractor, my
application,
prime
yes.
Right,
contractor.
it is on the, the builder should have done it and he didn't. So we don't want, I mean, technically the approval we gave would be null and void because we said, the builder has to get a permit and he hasn't and is not going to. So what we have discussed is allowing you to kind of step
Okay.
into that role and,
Get
So,
that permit.
what do I do as far as, I go to the
Fourth
fourth floor
building
Right.
department,
and,
Fill out a
Fill
building
out-
permit application. You fill out a building permit application, our guy.
just like it wasn't built yet.
Yeah, you fill it
Okay.
out, basically what you built, this is a whatever size carport. Our guys will review that.
Yeah.
The big condition on all of this, or the big thing on all of this, is that the building actually be behind the property line of your house.
It is.
So what we will do, once the building permit is issued, we're gonna come out and we're gonna do an inspection on the building, one for its structural soundness, and two, we're gonna measure the best way we can to figure out exactly where the property line is.
Well, I've got a wheel to
Oh,
do
we got
that,
a wheel too.
and I had a wheel,
But we really need.
by the contractor.
Yeah, what we really need what was called a survey, that shows distances from the front of the house to the property line, so we can make a determination. Usually a registered land surveyor does that, but I think we figured out maybe where that is. It may be within inches or whatever, but we just wanna make sure that that is actually behind the property line, because if you're over the property line, you're in the city right of way.
Yeah.
And if you're behind it, great. If you're in front of it, you may have to move it back. That'd be the only thing. And if you gotta move it back, you gotta move it back. Because they can't grant anything in the right of way. They can only grant up to the right of way.
Okay.
So, and the only way to get something in the right of way is you have to go before the city council. So, that's the process that's gonna happen. Come to the fourth floor tomorrow, fill out a building permit application. One of our guys will look over it. They may have some questions. And somebody will come out and do an inspection. Probably us and a couple others. From planning, we'll take a look at it, see what we got.
Okay.
And then we'll work with it from there. But
All right.
what we really wanted originally was we want that building contractor to come, mainly because he did work improperly. And we was wanting to talk with him about it, have a chat. But we're not gonna get that, so.
No, what I said.
We'd love to have it, but we're not gonna get it. But-
And Mrs. Excuse me. Mrs. Anderson and her husband own that business that does portable buildings and carports. They sub it to Tennessee Steel. And I've talked to Tennessee Steel. They don't, they don't want to know. They don't care.
they don't
they're
care.
too
They've been
busy.
paid at this point and they're out of.
They were paid, yeah,
I mean,
they got
that's-
paid, and everybody got paid. But, without the documentation, I understand your point.
So is that agreeable to you then, if we adjust that?
If I
For
could
you to
make
get
it
the
right
building
by buying or whatever it takes or filling out the builder's permit, I'll do that.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is, if it gets to where we can't, I know it's on my property. I know where it's placed. I know how many feet I have between my property or between the structure and my neighbor's yard.
Right,
And I've
well-
got at least 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah, well, okay.
But anyway,
We'll
if it comes down to it, I'm not holding anything against Decatur or people here. I will take it down. I could take it down in 2 hours.
Hopefully you don't have to get.
Right, we just
And
need
I'll
to,
have
like I
to-
said, it's about following a process and we're trying
Yeah.
to amend our original to help you follow the process. Chip, if you have something.
Yes, 99% of my job is taking care of the city and looking out for the city's best interest. Something you said several times during your presentation, I can't let this slide. To the degree that contractors told you that in order to get something built on your property, you have to come pay somebody. The inference I got from it was to grease somebody's palm to get it built. That may not have been what you meant. That's what it sounded like.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Okay, let me tell you, that is not the truth. And if you're dealing with contractors that told you that's the truth, they are, despite what Larry and everybody, they are not reputable business people that should be doing business in the city, and I think some of them are not. So if you come and get a building permit, you are coming to get a building permit. You are not coming to grease anybody's palms. And that's not the way the city of Decatur operates. We have not, and we're not going to. Somebody gave you bad information. If you want to come and build and buy a permit and follow the correct steps, you're welcome to do that. If you're going to continue saying, that you're having to pay somebody off to get the building, then tear the building down and move it out of the way. We don't care. We don't take bribes, and we're not going to act like we do. That's my say. So, yeah.
Good job.
Do we need a motion?
Do we need a motion to change our?
Yes.
Alter that?
Yes.
Thursday,
Yeah, you
you
wanna-
came to,
Yeah.
right?
Any comments from the public? Comments from the building department? Additional comments? Comments from the planning department? Okay. There being no further comments, this appeal is presented to the board for its ruling. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we adjust the motion from last month requiring the builder to get a building permit to allow, the gentleman,
Longy.
Mr. Longy, to get the building permit, as long as it meets the 30-day deadline, which ends this Thursday.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Susanna Cito,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Gary Wade,
Yes.
Brad Townsend,
Yes.
Elaine Denny.
Yes.
There you go.
Hopefully we've helped you so you don't have to tear that building down.
I probably won't be back again.
Yeah.
This will be it. I'll get the thing taken care of in the office there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank
Well,
you.
you won't have to come back to us regarding
Yeah,
this,
regardless.
Yeah.
because like I said,
You
we
would have to be back.
approved, our role in this was to approve a
Susanna,
structure in your front yard,
You gotta do it,
which we approved with, because it was done, it was already built, that added in the building permit, and those things. So as far as this board, it's a non-issue for us at this point. It will be with the building department going forward.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other new or old business?
Madam
Motion
Chair,
to dismiss.
well, before we dismiss, Madam Chair, we had several that we had to roll back, and then those people did not come forward. And so I believe that for our procedure, we dismissed them.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to dismiss case number 1? Can't do them all.
Yes, all right, Madam Chair, a motion to dismiss, item number 1.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Need a second.
Oh, it'll be a second. Oh,
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to dismiss case number 5.
Second.
Madam Chair, a motion to dismiss case number 5.
All in favor, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Number 7.
7, not Shelley. Oh, that's true. Motion to dismiss case number 7.
Motion to dismiss.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Trent showed up.
I think that's it.
That is it. Good catch, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, that's why we.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair?
We don't have to have a second on
That should
that.
have it unanimous.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah,
And leave.